on my computer. All right. All right. So this week we're looking at strings. So the primitive type char is used to store a single character, which can be a letter, a number, or a symbol. So in contrast to the reference type string, which encapsulates an array of characters. So we're looking over here at the difference between this char A, which is a primitive type, and the value is stored inside of the variable, versus the array here, where we're pointing this array of characters to the values here, CAT, the character array over here. This other piece here is the string. So this is what the string looks like. You're going to have this string word. It's going to point to a string, which is basically an array of characters. So it's going to be this double arrow kind of in your memory stack diagram, and you're going to have characters of D, O, and G. So make sure you understand how the string looks in a memory stack diagram and how that builds out. So if you've got these, how's the syntax of character literals and string literals different? So the character literal is in single quotes, so C, A, and T. The word dog is double quotes. So that's going to be a string, and it's going to have the double quotes around it. So what's the index of D in the string above? This is 0, because remember arrays, you got 0, 1, and 2. So those are our index. Same here with G, it's 2. And if you're encapsulating data, you are basically putting it inside of another object. So that's what encapsulation means. You'll see that term in 159 as well. All right. So why can we use the string class in Java programs without having to import it? It's because it's part of the native Java package and the main Java package that we're using. And what's the value of a char variable? It's the letter in there. And what's the value of an array variable? If we just printed out our array, we would get a memory address location, because it's going to be this pointer to this memory address location where we're starting the cat here. And then what's the value of a string variable? It's going to be similar. It's going to just be, this is going to point to the actual string here. So if we do some pieces to print out things, you would see the different types of things. You'll want to do that if you are not getting this piece. Just take these kind of pieces, enter these into JGrasp, and then run it and print out what is the value of, say, word, array, and letter, and you'll get some different pieces in there. So what if we draw a memory stack diagram for this given code here? Let's go in here and let's look at this in the Python tutor here. If we do this piece, and we go to the last piece here, this is what our memory stack diagram looks like. This string is going to point to a string variable high. Let is going to be just storing this X. Num is going to be -1. Foo is going to be -1.0 here. That's the double number. And then is going to be a string. So it's going to store the word high, because it's storing this string, same value as string. It's going to get copied over into this and that value will be the same high as string. All right. And remember here that the equal operator compares the value of two variables. For two character variables to be equal, that means that they are the same value. For two string variables to be equal, it means they point to the same memory location. So remember, you have to use dot equals if you want to compare the values of strings, not equal. You're going to do that several times over, I'm sure. So make sure you try and understand that early on so that you don't keep making that mistake. And then you've got your other methods here. These are some of the more useful ones. This char at, so it's going to give you the character at a particular index value. You've got the index of, so it's going to give you an index of the particular string that you're going to look for, or substring that you're looking for. The length will give you the length of the string. The substring will give you a substring from the first integer to the second integer in there. Remember, those indexes begin at 0. And then we've got to uppercase, which is going to give you the uppercase, all uppercase version of that string. You've got the same to lowercase to get the lowercase versions of that. Over here, we've got some more items here. So again, the reason you have this dot operator here, so we have str is our string. We got str dot char at because we're calling the method char at from the string library. Same thing over here with this equals and compare to piece here where we're saying name sub1 dot equals name sub3. This is the kind of thing we're going to need to do. And then name equal one equal name two. Make sure you understand the differences between those two nomenclatures. All right. So let's get the last piece here and let's go ahead and go into the lab here, lab 17, Eclipse. So this is a link to download Eclipse, the Eclipse IDE. If you have not done that or want to do that, you can download the latest version of that here. If you go into here, it'll, I think 2021-03, so March is the latest release. You can download that version and install that on your machine. I think I'm on an older version than that. So I'll go ahead and start up my Eclipse and show you what this looks like. So I've got the 09 because I did this last semester. So the 09 version is the one I'm using. It's going to ask you to use a directory as your workspace. You can browse over to this CS149 in class, or CS149 folder. I'm going to use the same folder we used for everything else. And I'm going to pull that into here. And then I'm going to launch my IDE or integrated development environment of Eclipse. So first thing it's going to ask you to do here is go through a tutorial in here. I'm going to go ahead and 50-50 this so that I can do that. Let's close up JGrasp because that's going to be distracting. Let's go into here. Let's go through this Hello World application tutorial. So this workspace is the idea of a place where you can create projects, and a project is a folder set that you're going to use to actually put your programs in. So let's go ahead and create a new Java project. I'm going to come into here and I'm going to go File, New Java Project. And I'm going to call this project Hello World. And I'm going to do one thing here. This is the important piece that it's highlighting in step 3. For this class, in order to use an interchange between JGrasp and Eclipse, we're going to use this very important piece here called use project folder as root for source and class files. Otherwise, it's going to create these subfolders called src and class and a bunch of other stuff that's just going to be Java organizational stuff. But if you do that, you can't use the files in Eclipse and JGrasp and go back and forth. So what this does, this use project folder as root for sources and class files, is allows you to go back and forth between Eclipse and JGrasp. So we're going to select that just like it says here. I'm going to go ahead and hit next here. And then I'm going to hit finish. And it's going to produce this folder here called Hello World. And it's going to load the Java library into this project because it's a Java project. The next thing we want to do in here is we want to actually create a project for this. So a Java file for this. So let's go into here and we're going to go into this tutorial. Go through and create the Hello World application. So it says open the Java perspective. Okay, let's go to Window, Open Perspective Java. So let's go up to Window, Perspective, Open Perspective, and we'll say Java here. We want to grab the Java default perspective. That's going to open it up in this perspective. We're already in the Java perspective, but if you weren't, it would do that for you. Let's go ahead and go into create a Java project. We already did this piece. We did the Hello World piece there. Let's go create now the Hello World class. So in order to do this, we're going to come into here and we're going to say new, or file new Java class. And we're going to say class here. So this is going to create a Java class. We're going to call this Hello World. And we're going to use this default package, even though it says it's discouraged to use it because we don't want to deal with a lot of package and again, more Java nonsense. I'm also going to in here create stubs for my main, and I'm going to generate comments. This will allow me to automatically build some comments. So let's hit finish, and it's going to build this hello world. And I've got this whole piece here. I need to get rid of this. For some reason, it always adds an extra Java comment in when you're using it from here. Let's go ahead and do this hello world, simple program. We'll give our author, and it's going to put my EID because I'm logged in as that as my username. That's fine. You can leave it at whatever it's going to leave it at. At version, we're going to say 4-1-21, April Fool's Day. So make sure you don't get fooled by your friends on all those silly things that they're going to try and do with you. I have abided by the honor code. All right, I'm going to go into here, public class hello. I'm going to come into here. I'm going to do my main here and param args not used. Then I'm going to come into here, and it's actually built this main already for me. Then I want to come into here, system out dot, and then it actually starts to fill in some of these things for you. You can just do that, and it'll fill in the print line piece. And let's go hello. There. I can save this. And that's my first piece in here. So I've done this piece of hello world. Then I can run my Java application down here. In order to do this, you want to click on the piece up here, this green arrow here, play button, and it will launch a piece into here. Let's go ahead and do run as. I'm going to go into here and go run as, or run configuration here. Let's go into this. And we're going to say Java application here. All right, so we're going to do that run, and it's going to go run this, and it's going to show us hello there in the terminal down here. So this terminal is just like it was in JGrasp. It's going to show you that piece there. I can close this stuff out because that's not going to be very relevant, but this is now going to give me a nice interface. JGrasp is a lot, I'll call it a lot jankier than Eclipse. So you're going to come into here and you're going to go, why didn't we start with Eclipse? This is such a better interface, looks great, all that. The reason we didn't start with Eclipse is it does a lot of helpy kind of things that kind of are a little bit more advanced and may actually confuse you. And so that's why we started with JGrasp. It doesn't auto-complete stuff and auto-add stuff for you that's kind of distracting. And I don't like that piece. The one thing I really love about Eclipse, though, is you do have this code folding, which you can kind of suck up these pieces into here and get rid of your Java doc comments. So it's just your code, and you'll be able to see more of your code into here. You can then expand these things out and look at stuff if you need to look at stuff in there too. So that's the first application. We're done this portion here. Let's go ahead and start this other one, and we're going to create a new Eclipse project called Lab 17. I'm going to come into here and I'm going to go file new Java project. I'm going to say lab 17 is what I'm going to call this. Again, I want to do this, use project folder as source folder for classes. I'm going to come into here and I'm going to say finish. And that's going to create this lab 17 folder. Then I'm going to come into here and I'm going to go into this and I'm going to create a string thing class. So I'm going to go file over here. I want to go here, file, new class. I'm creating a new Java class. This one, oh, I don't want to have it in there. Let's go ahead and go into here and let's right click new class in here. So I'm doing it inside of my lab 17. Yes, I can see that's there. I want to call this string thing, lowercase t there. I'm going to create a main here. I'm going to create the comments and I'm going to hit finish. So now I've got this, oh, and this used did not use the default package, did it? No. So let's go ahead and delete this. I don't want that one because I don't want it to use, I want it to use the default package. So let's delete that. Let's come into here, right click, new class. I want this to use the default package. So I'm going to delete this lab 17 out of here. And then I'm going to say string thing here, because I don't want it. I want it to use the default package, not the other one. So let's go ahead and do that in here. All right, I can get rid of this top Java comment because it's not needed. I can come into here, string thing, and I will fill that out later. I can go at version 4-5-21. I have followed the honor code. And let's go into here and let's start to create these pieces. Let's go into the main. Args not used. And then we can come into here and we can build out any main we want to do in here. I don't think we'll need a whole lot in there. Let's go ahead and finish out one of these pieces. So this lab is calling for you to basically come into here and create this extra end from the coding bat string one here. And it's going to want you to solve this extra end item here. So let's go ahead and do this. If I run this and it's going to say missing a return statement, let's return LO. And these are some tests I can do. So now if I wanted to come into here, I could create a string test equals hello. Then I could go run my system.out.println, and I could do a 1, and then I'll add this and say extra end sub test. And I'm going to do that so that I can test this out. Let's go ahead and save that. I don't have an extra end yet, but let's go ahead and make that public string static. And we want to do this way, even though it doesn't have that in here, we're going to want to do that so that we can call it the right way, how we're doing it. So string tr, and then over here, we're going to return the blank string. And that will now allow us to test this piece. Or if we did LO, we would get a return for that. Let's go ahead and run this, and it's going to go LO, and that's what it's going to return. So we also want to do some other tests over here for other values here. So let's go string test2 maybe here, and test2 would be AB, and we're going to want this to work for that too. And we're going to want to come in here and write some more tests. So we're going to say number 2 is this extra end of, and we're going to pass it this one, test2. All right. So that's the piece we're going to want to do there. That'll help us to do some testing in here. The other thing I'm going to do over here is I'm going to go ahead and run through how to set up things inside of Eclipse as far as the editor is concerned. So let's go to this to match our style sheet so we can do our check style against this. And I'll show you how to run check style and also set up the tabs and all that business. So it's explained here, but sometimes it's good to see it. So we go to Window and we go to, or in this case, on the Mac, it's going to be maybe a little bit different here. So let's go into here to Window Preferences and select the General. So let's go to Window. Let's see if we've got preferences here. We don't have it there. Oh, we're not in there. Let's go to Window. And if you're on Windows, it has a preferences in there. I think the file it's in a little different space on your Mac. So let's go ahead and go into here. On the Mac, I think it's going to be in this properties here. Yes, so we're going to come into, where is this? They moved this on me here. Let's go editor. And I can show white space characters, and this will show me these carriage returns. This would come in handy for like the first lab that we did. So let's go into here. Where is this guy here? Preferences here. So let's go into this preferences piece, file. I'm trying to find this one because it's not showing up where I'm expecting it to be here. Maybe I'm in the wrong section for this. Let's go into here. So I want to get these options for the window. There it is. So if I right click in here, there's the preferences. So that's what I want to do. And I'm going to come in here to general, and this was all sucked up, so I didn't see it. Editors in here, and then I want to go into text editors here. And this is the one I'm going to look at. I want to be displaying the tab width of 3 here instead of 4, because we're doing 3 tabs as the piece. I want to highlight the current line. I'm going to insert spaces for tabs. And then I'm going to show a print margin at 80 so I can see in here what the 80 is. I like to show line numbers here as well. So let's do that piece. Let's also, I like the white space characters. You may not want this. So if you don't like the white space character kind of showing and it's too distracting, you can take that off. I like it a lot because I like to show the spaces and that kind of thing. So I'm going to leave that on because that's my personal preference. Let's go ahead and do that. I think these are the main ones that we want to affect over there. So if we do that, 3 at 80, show white space characters, hit apply, then apply and close. And now we're going to have all these white space characters getting shown. If we had spaces here, it would be like that. And let's do that. And the other thing we can do is making sure there's a blank line here. We can Control Shift F, and this will format our document like we want it for our CS149 style. So let's do that. The other thing I can do is come in here and load check style here and the formatter file here. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to go into here and I'm going to go help Eclipse Marketplace here. And I'm going to load check style. I would come in here and I would find check style as a plugin. And it's going to be this check style plugin right here. And I would want to install this guy so that I had check style installed into this Eclipse setup. It's going to say, do you want to accept the license? I'm going to say yes and finish. And that'll install the style guide into there, or check style into there. All right, install anyway. So that's fine. Restart Eclipse. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll save this as stringthing.java. It's going to restart that and then show me what's going on here. All right, come on. All right, so if I do this now, let's go ahead and right click again back here and let's go into check style here. And we can, or actually let's go into preferences here and we can go into Java and we can go into here, Java, and we're going to go into this code style here, editor. Editor, and we want to go into this style here. Where is this piece? Window preferences, Java code style formatter, and we're going to want to import our code formatter into here, but I'm not finding this formatter right away. So let's see where this is. Is this in here? They have changed this up in this latest version. I have not seen this one in a while. So I think this is where it is allowing you to get this formatting into here, but it's not showing me the piece I'm looking for. Let's try this again. Preferences. We want folding here, content assist. Advanced, is that what we want? We want the formatting piece. Let's close that out or do that. Let's, so I'm not going to mess with this formatter right now. Let's go ahead and do this load of our check style piece. So let's go ahead and go into here, window preferences, check style. It should be showing up in there, but it doesn't seem to be showing up in here. Let's go activate check style for this lab. Check style, activate check style. Yes. There it is, create formatter profile. That's what we want. All right. And we want to come into here, and we want to come into here, and here we go. All right. Yes, Java code style and the formatter here in the properties for this lab. Okay, so what we're going to want to do in here is we're going to want to import this profile here of this CS149 profile, download this linked file. We'll save it to our CS149 in class. And this is going to give us here, and we'll say this is the active profile we want to use. And we want to create a new profile for this piece. We want to go here, a new one. We're going to call this CS149. That's our style. And we're going to want to open that up. And then we're going to want to import one into here. Let's go ahead and, there it is, import. That's what we want. Formatter here, and we'll go ahead and do that. CS149 formatter. We're going to apply that, apply and close. Now, if we can Shift Command F or Control Shift F, we will see how these have now gone to spaces instead of the tabs. It's removed and done the style that I want for our 149 piece. And so this is now applying the formatter correctly here. So you'll want to make sure you have that set up correctly. And then you can come down here and go into the 149 and go into here, right click in here and do the check style, check code with check style, or come into preferences, and then you can come into your or properties. Let's go into here. Let's do the properties. Yes. And then we want to come into here with check style, and we want to set up a style. Right now it's using the Google checks file. We want to configure this to use our check style file. So we're going to come into here and we're going to load our check style file into here. But we need to do configure to add a new configuration file into here. And let's go. Where is this one going to grab? Window preferences, check style. Okay, so we're back into this window preferences. Yeah, it's not showing up where I want this thing to show up. So let's go into preferences here. Yes, and this is now back to here. This should be adding my check style into here somewhere, but it is not, and I need to get that into here. Let's grab this. And we're going to grab our CS149 in class, and we want our CS149.xml file here. Let's grab that. And that's the file we're going to want to import, but we got to get it set up so we're importing the check style correctly, and that will allow you to do the check for check style. I'll probably try and get to this next class because we're getting down into the weeds here, and it's almost the end of class period. So there's another video out there that hopefully I run through that a little bit more smoothly than here, because I'm not seeing, for whatever reason, some of these pieces here. So we're in the package explorer, and we really want to right click on your project here and then select check style activate. And then we need to go in there and edit the check style file here. And this is probably where we want to create a formatter profile. Configure, activate check style. Let's see if, okay, that's what it is. Then I need to come into here and I can do my preferences for check style once it's been activated, right? Yes. All right, let's go into here and check style configure. No, we don't want to do that. We want to do it for this project here. And it's showing us a bunch of violations here of the style. This is not the style that we're using though, so we want to get ours loaded in there. So we're going to need to figure out how to get that into there. But that would be the piece we would want to do. And so I think the other video that I have that's already shared on the Lab 17 that I did last semester is actually going to be correct with what it's doing into here. So you can take a look at that video, this one here, this lecture 17 and Eclipse setup. I'll also put this one out there as well because it's going over some of the other pieces as well. But this is lab 17, so you want to kind of roll through that. Again, if you don't get this loaded into Eclipse, don't worry about it. Just do this in JGrasp if you need to. And this one is due on Monday. So if you're having problems with it, I'm really looking for you to do the string pieces more than I am for you to do the other pieces in there. So just bear that in mind. All right. I think that's it. So if you guys don't have any questions, that's the end of class. Have a great weekend. And hopefully, if you have any questions, the TA hours are this evening. And then I'm not sure that they're going to have any on Sunday Easter, but there'll be some on Monday as well for doing that.